All right, what is going on, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the HomePods in the stereo pairing setting that is connected to the Apple TV and how it sounds in like a home theater and type of environment, as well as streaming some music, hearing how the sound quality is going to be. Unfortunately, I did an entire unboxing experience, but the audio got messed up, so we're just going to redo it starting from the point of setting up both HomePods and how it's going to connect to the Apple TV. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor, Nobody. If you've seen audio unboxing reviews on this channel, you know that it's a little bit more lax than my traditional unboxing and reviews, but the one thing you have to understand for the HomePods is that they have to be set up with an iPhone. It will not work if you have an Android device. So if you want to set up your HomePod, all you gotta do is get close with your device unlocked, and then it should show this. And you hit setup, and then it says center the HomePod in the frame, so that would be the top of the HomePod. It's gonna make that chime there, and it does have a little bit of a glowing effect. Now, unlike the first generation HomePod, it does dip down a bit. It's not like this clear part right here is flat with the surface. So it's gonna tell you to pick a room. I'm going to choose the living room because that's where it's at. And then this is the important thing. It's gonna ask you, do you wanna use your HomePod as a TV speaker? Because this is in fact Apple TV. So I'm just going to hit use as a Apple TV speaker. That's fine. Don't recognize my voice because I'm okay with that, and don't use that my personal request. The other thing that I want to mention is we always have to give credit where credit is due, and both of these were made in Vietnam. In terms of how they smell out the box, they smell pretty bad, which is pretty much how Apple products usually smell. So once this HomePod gets set up here, I'm actually going to do the same setup process on the black one and show you what it's like, because there are some slight differences if you decide to set up a HomePod within the same room. We're gonna walk over here, and depending on the color you have, it's going to show the color of the HomePod as well. So I'm gonna hit setup. So once again, I'm going to select the living room, and then it notices that there are two HomePods within the same room. So I'm just going to hit use as a stereo pair. Use as a stereo pair. And it's saying which one is this HomePod, the left or right side. So since this is the one that is being set up now, I'm going to select the right one. And now they're both getting set up. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is if I were to go back in time, because I just wanted to see what the different colors were like, I believe this one is space gray and this one is the silver. I would probably go with the space gray. But obviously it depends on your decor in your home. But I just think the space gray one looks a little bit more sleek and kind of matches that home theater environment. So this is still setting up. And what I'm going to show you now is how this appears within Apple TV. So it's still getting set up, but let's just go ahead and go to the settings. Oh, would you look at that? Perfect. So you'll see that this is still saying setting up. So what I'm going to do before I select this is just wait for this process to finish. And it's going to take probably another 30 seconds or so. All right, so the HomePod is ready. I'm going to hit done. And then we are done with the iPhone. So it is showing here on my Apple TV, when Apple TV and HomePod are in the same room, you can choose your HomePod as home theater speakers for this Apple TV. So I'm going to select use as TV speakers. All right, so let's quickly go to the settings of the Apple TV. Settings. And I'm going to go to audio output. So right now it says Atmos is available coming from the living room HomePod setup. So I'm going to go back to TV speakers, which is my soundbar setup. It's a 7.1.4 setup. So it's going to, do its thing. All right, now it's checked off, and I still have that audio format of Dolby Atmos being available and whatnot. So I'm just going to set it back to living room. Man, I give so much credit to camera people who hold the camera all day because my arm already hurts holding up this tripod. All right, so living room is selected once again. If I were to go back to audio format, Dolby Atmos is available, but you actually can't select anything. It's only gonna play Atmos when available. So let's go back and play a quick scene from a movie. And the one that I chose is the Wakanda Forever movie. So let's go and view that real quick. So I'm going to switch the audio, but trust me, in person, it sounds completely different. It sounds much better than what you guys are going to hear. Gonna switch to the stereo microphone now. All right, let me put the camera down because, to be honest, guys, my hands are starting to hurt. And let me explain what I am hearing right now. So what I'm going to show you next is a scene from The Americans, and this scene is really just to show you guys how a scene is with dialogue, how easy it is to decipher what people are saying, because that was one of my biggest problems of why I bought one of my sound bars, is because I couldn't really hear how people spoke in some scenes. So take a listen. Trust me, you won't be disappointed in both the TV show and the dialogue. And when I mean dialogue, I mean the sound quality, how easy and crisp it is.
Directed charge. Surprisingly quiet. I like to think ahead. Now, the two of you are going to put your guns down on the count of 3. 1, 2.
Okay, we're not gonna watch this because I don't want to get demonetized on YouTube, but one of the best things that I can say about the HomePod is just how clear the audio is at any volume. As you guys can see here, the volume is just at around 50%, which I would say is probably higher than what most people would listen to from their TV speakers or a regular home theater system. My soundbar is probably at like 20%, but when it comes to the HomePods, no matter what the volume is, like if I were to crank this up to max, I'm not gonna play anything, but trust me, these things get pretty loud, like just this noise. So I would say max, if you live in an apartment, probably 50, anything higher, and it's gonna be a little much. But overall, I would say that both these HomePods together are a very nice product. I would say the two main competitors to this thing is, the HomePods, are the Sonos ones and the Echo Studio, if anyone even still uses that. I'm sure they do. The reason why I'm not the biggest fan of the Echo Studio, I'm a person that loves bass, but the bass in the Echo Studio is just a little bit too much, where it gets muddy at higher volumes. And this is where both the Sonos and the HomePod start to excel. When you start cranking up the volume, there's no distortion at all. And I think that's where the HomePod and the Sonos ones have a clear advantage. Now, between the Sonos one and the regular HomePods that we have in front of me right here, it really depends on what you're looking for. If your intention is to build your own home audio system in the future, I would say then, even though these speakers do sound better than the Sonos ones, get the Sonos ones and then just build out your audio system. The thing you have to keep in mind when it comes to Sonos is that their ecosystem is like Apple, and it gets pretty pricey relatively quickly. Now, yes, they have alternatives like the Beam and the mini subwoofer, but I would argue those two setups kind of pale in comparison compared to both stereos of the HomePod. And on top of that, the Sonos app, I might offend some people here. By people, I mean Sonos fans. The Sonos app, I've had countless problems with it. Not every time I used it, but most of the time that I used it. You can see that in my previous Sonos unboxing and first impressions and review videos. Sonos, they sound great, but the app just needs a little bit more fine tuning to it. The other thing that I want to mention is for the Sonos ones, you have the ability to have multiple voice assistants. And at this point, I'm basically doing a comparison video at this point. The Sonos ones start at, I believe, that $200 mark, and this is an extra $100. So would I say it's worth the extra $100 by themselves if you're just getting this for music? No, I would actually say get the Sonos. The Sonos ones are better. However, if you want a nice sounding setup at home and you're already in the Apple ecosystem and you don't have any speakers, I would say pick up 2 of these. Don't get 2 Sonos. Don't get an ARC. Don't get a mini sub or whatever. I would honestly say if you want a no frills, easy to set up, compatible with everything you already have, get the HomePods together. They're great speakers by themselves, don't get me wrong, but together it is really nice. But the one thing I want to mention, because I have set these up before, the first time I set these up, I was having static crackling issues, a lot of desyncing issues. Not really sure what the problem was, but if you do face that issue, give it like 5 minutes and then check your home app and see if there's an update available, because these did ship with the original software on them, and now there's like 3 updates at this point. Fix the issues. I haven't had any desyncing issues, any audio issues, any Bluetooth connectivity issues. Handoff feature works no problem, and everything just works really great. Now, I believe I'm missing one thing. I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but if this is hooked up to an Apple TV and your TV has eARC, your HomePods will actually work on other HDMI inputs. So that's nice. The last main advantage of the HomePod, I would say, that makes it a nice speaker is how portable it is. It's only one cable. You just unplug it and you can just take it with you anywhere and you're good to go. Also, since this kind of emulates an entire home theater system, because it does sound like it's coming behind you. I don't know how they do that. It takes up less space, so I don't even need the sound bar anymore, and I can just have other home decor. But that pretty much wraps up my first impressions of the HomePod 2nd generation. Once again, if I can go back in time, I would most definitely get the black one, just like my Sonos that I reviewed, I think about 6 months ago at this point. There's nothing wrong with the silver. It's just that this is gonna get dirty, and the fabric that Apple uses, it picks up dirt fairly quickly. Whereas on the space gray, the black doesn't pick it up as much. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this first impressions, got some informative content out of it. If you have any comments or questions down below, I will be using these for more than 30 days, and then I will do a full review on them, maybe even do comparison videos as well to like the HomePod mini, stuff like that. Let me know down in the comments below. But stereo setup together, these things are a nice price if you're in the Apple ecosystem. Anyway, guys, appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. As always, much love.